their class. Good set of 5. Let's put our hands together for all of those exhibitors.
Congratulations to feeder steer class 2 exhibitors. First place, Gwyneth Souter. Second, Hayden Wagner. Third, Holden Sweet. Fourth, Miriam Staggerwald. And fifth, Evan Young. Entering the ring, we now have class 3 feeder steers, Zoe Sawyers, Garrett Moran, Bailey Joy Davis, Lauren McIntosh, Piper Anderson. Class 4, please be making your way to the makeup area.
I need Hunter Murray to the makeup ring.
Oh dear God, Tim, I can't. My short little legs. What the heck? I don't have anything to hold on to. Thank you. He doesn't understand. My legs don't do that high. Thank you.
What an awesome class out here. Quality all the way down the lineup. 1 and 2 really sort up in a hurry, and man, they're awfully good. Going to do a lot of winning in their lifetime. But this orange steer, he puts a whole lot of good together and has some extreme pieces in this particular class. Comparing him between 1 and 2, he's significantly bigger footed and stouter featured. Stepping behind that calf, that's the big ended one who has plenty of power, and he still props up with just an exceptional look from the side. Got tons of mid middle and it got some feeding capabilities. I'd like to make him a little bit bolder right behind his shoulder. He wants to concave there in his forerib ever so slightly. Maybe at the base of his shoulder, we could flatten and smooth that up just ever so slightly. I think you get some chub on him. You fill in that forerib. He's just going to look awesome down the road. I like his foot size and stoutness compared to the one in second. The one in second, when they first came out and we set him in motion, I thought he was going to be the class winner because he maintains his top line just a nickel better than the one we start off with. He's extremely sound. He props up with just an outstanding look from the side. That's going to be a killer fat steer. For me, though, I think he reads a little bit smaller there in his rear ankle and his foot size. I'd like to make him longer necked and just more extended up front. I never think he's going to be a big steer, but that's not the reasons I beat him. I think he's a little smaller footed. I don't think he's quite as burly. I still think he could have more extension to him as well. This is an awesome third place calf out here. He's big boned. He's one that has more power than the one right there behind him. I think he offers more rib shape than the one right there behind him. Compared to 1 and 2, he's just not near as fancy about his front thirds. He just doesn't quite have the power through the lower portion of his stifle, as 1 and 2. The one here in 4, I think that one goes to junior nationals. He's going to be really fun in the shorthorn steer class. He is really cool fronted. He's got a pretty big pin set. I think he's relatively sound. I'd like to fix him right behind his shoulder. He wants to dip and he kind of wants to get a little bit tight-hearted on me. I think we'd like to give him a little bit more pop and turn across the side view plane of his stifle. I think doing so, we can work him up. That's an awesome breed steer right there. He's going to do a lot of winning wherever you take him if you go to a breed show. And then again, we have a steer here in 5th. I'd feed him on all the way through the year, young man, because he's just going to get better. Today, he's got a little bit more daylight underneath him. I think he reads a little straight in his shoulder. I like his look. I like his balance. I like his expression. Today, right now, he just doesn't have enough body, just doesn't have that look to play with 1 through 4. Excellent class. Let's congratulate them on their way back to their stalls.
We all have individual needs when it comes to our prescriptions. Why not choose a pharmacy that offers personalized, friendly service that's also convenient? Health Source of Ohio pharmacies offer free prescription delivery within their service area, free shipping on your mail order prescriptions, auto refill, and more. Call 513-707-9900 or visit healthsourceofohio.org for more information. Stop by any of the pharmacy locations in Seaman, Mount Orb, or Batavia to meet the staff. Health Source of Ohio is proud to be the source for pharmacy in your community.
Our business is helping you grow. We're Baxter Tractor. We take care of you like family.
We've been growing since 1946. As your Kubota dealer, our focus is to help you grow today and into the future. Stop by one of our locations today, visit with our folks, and see our entire lineup of Kubota products.
Our business is helping you grow. Baxter Tractor.
Ella Scott, please be making your way to the makeup area. Ella Scott.
Another nice class out here with some good cattle all the way down the lineup. Yellow steer's going to win this class fairly easily. He's the one who's the show steer from the side, just really attractive, long-necked, level-made, really big foot and bone underneath this guy, and he can use that hind leg. Kind of almost oversteps his track, which I like, and he's just got a really squishy rear pastern. He's one that's going to be a pretty big calf. I'd like to maybe shut down his grow pattern. Stepping up front, I'd like to open him up in his chest and just give him more genuine turn to his rib, maybe stouten him up from behind. There's a long way to go until he's a fat steer. I think you get that done. He's going to be really fun to feed this winter and later this summer. Steer coming out next, and I think 2 and 3 get extremely close, and that's what my decision was in this particular class. I like the look up front of the steer that's going to go ahead and be second. He's really attractive about his head, neck, and shoulder. I think he reads squarer and truer about his knee and his front feet. I like that about him. I think he's one that just has an attractive look from the side. When we set him into motion, he wants to kind of catch that rear ankle and duck his pins. He's not as wide or as thick as the one there in third. The one in third is a really thick steer. He's the stoutest one in this particular class. And I like the muscle. I like the rib. It's kind of working to his detriment. He's the coarsest about his shoulder. He's the plainest about his head and his neck. He's one that needs to be just a little bit fancier from his front third for me to justify sorting him one spot up. But man, I like his hind leg. I like his power. Keep feeding on him hard. He's going to be a really nice fat steer. Same for the young man who's going to round out the class. Sound made, big bodied, easy feeding cattle. Practical kind right there. Just needs to have more genuine muscle right outside of his shoulder. I'd like to advance him in his foot and bone size as well. Great class. Let's put our hands together for all 4 of those kids.
Congratulations to our exhibitors in our feeder steer class 4. First place, Holden Sweet. Second, Caitlin Latham. Third, Caitlin Sweet. And fourth, Hunter Murray. Entering the ring, we now have class 5 feeder steers, Evan Young and Sage Miranda.
Only a pair of them out here, but this brockle-faced steer is awfully nice from the profile. Really long and extended and just stops and parks with a really cool look from the side. I like that about him. He set these guys in motion. He feels his track and takes a long, comfortable stride. Right behind his shoulder, he gets just a little funky there. I think he could be opened up and manned up there in his forerib. I'd like to drop him in his flank and maybe slow him down in his grow pattern just ever so slightly. Very nice class winner out here and a pair of them. Nothing to take away from the young man's in second because that's a really thick, stout steer. He's got a real open pin set. He feels his track when we set him in motion. We like all the things about that guy. He's just a little bit too coarse at the base of his shoulder for me. He could be a little bit bigger footed. I'd like to see him softer flanked maybe to go ahead and beat that one. But that's still a really nice show calf you got there, bud. Let's go ahead and give these 2 kids a big round of applause.
Congratulations to our exhibitors in Class 5 feeder steer. First place goes to Sage Miranda. Second, Evan Young. Entering the ring, we now have Class 6 feeder steers. Brandy Huber, Haley Arthur, Lacey Hauser, Cameron Hardy. Class 7, please be making your way to the makeup area.
really tough trio of steers that I think all have reasons you maybe could go ahead and run them to the top, and all have reasons maybe you could go ahead and run them into third. I think the complete steer who has the most unique pieces that we're projecting him on what he could feed like and what he's going to do is the one right in front of me. That is a monster-footed calf. Every now and then he wants to just knuckle up on that rear ankle, but when he gets to going and when he learns that the ground's not a scary place, he can really flex that rear ankle and have some squish there to his pastern. I like his pin set. He's pretty opened up. Long neck steer. It's pretty coarse about his shoulder. It gets a little bit off right there behind his shoulder as well. I'd like to maybe drop him in his heart. He gets a little bit tight-hearted for me. Those are the reasons I don't just start him and don't think twice about it, but that's still an awfully nice steer. His foot size is absolutely insane. 2 and 3 get very, very, very close. The one here in 2, I like his hind leg just a little bit better. I think he's just a little bit more attractive about his hind leg. When he's parked, I think he just comes together a little bit smoother down his top line. That's one that just looks like an easy feeding type of a steer who's really flat and smooth about his shoulder. I like to dial him back in the angle to his shoulder and knee. When you set him in motion, he kind of almost gets up on his toes and wants to pinch and raise in his spine ever so slightly, and he's not as powerful as either of the cattle on either side of him. I just think he's built a little smoother, and I like his hind leg a little bit better than the one there in third. I've had the one in third all the way starting, and he is just the powerhouse of the group. He's got a big, long neck. I just think he maybe comes in a few more pieces. He's more out in his shoulder and kind of wants to concave right there behind it in his forerib. He's one that maybe gets a little bit uneven in his hoof wall and wants to kind of maybe turn his front feet out when he gets out on the move. And that hind leg, he tends to have a little bit of a sharpness to the end of his hock. Instead of reaching and flexing, he almost fills his track, but he kind of just drags that hind leg along with him. I'd like to see him pick it up and push it past his tail and flex a little bit more. I think doing so, I could start this guy. I think he just comes in too many pieces tonight. Really, really, really nice steer. I think you could go to another guy and do a lot of good. One here in 4, I think, is a very good steer as well. I think that one's just proportional. He's sound. He's big-bodied. We like all those things about him. He just, in this particular lineup, strikes me as the most frail, the one that needs more muscle and power to play a little bit higher. I think, you could enter him in possibly a breed show and get him in the right class. He could do some damage. Really good set of 4. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
Congratulations to our Class 6 feeder steer exhibitors. First place, Lacey Hauser. Second, Haley Arthur. Third, Brandy Huber. Fourth, Cameron Hardy. Now entering the ring, Class 7 feeder steers. If we could please have Class 1 feeder heifers be making your way to the makeup area.
class that throws some wrenches in things. We have lots of different types and kinds, but there's absolutely no getting around this black steer that starts the class. He's just really cool fronted. I love just how big and swoopy bellied he is. He's got a big pin set from behind. I like all those things about him. He gets a little wonky right out of the back of his shoulder. I like to strengthen him there in his top line and just open him up there in his forerib. I think doing so would make him just hang a little tighter with a few others I have in mind for champion, but I think that's an awfully nice steer. I think he'll be fun to look at in the champion drive. The one over here in second, I think 2 and 3 get really close for me. They're very different, but they get close. For me, the one that looks like the show steer today, the one who's got the muscle, got the body, got the feeder calf look is the one right here in front of me. He's bold-bodied, he's thick, he parks with a proportional look. He wants to really knuckle up on that rear ankle, and I'd like to see him get out and go just sounder, more functional. For how stout he is up high, he needs to be bigger footed, and he tends to want to run downhill. Those are the things I want to see. I call him sound enough, and he's on an overwhelming amounts of power. He's got a nice sense of quality from the side. Steer here in third is the soundest in the class. He's a big-footed calf. He almost oversteps his print. He's still got a proportional look from the side. That's the type of steer I can sell to a kid and say, go feed this one. He's going to turn out to be a nice one. He doesn't have maybe some of the extras our class winner does. He's maybe not quite as geek-fronted. He's not near as thick-ended. He's one of the lighter muscle steers in this class. But his foot size, the way he utilizes his hind leg, that's a good type of cattle. That's why he moved up and almost went into second. Steer here in 4 looks like a show steer. He's really fuzzy, he's really thick, he's really massive. That guy's just too far over my limit in regards to the straightness of his shoulder and knee. He just gets a little bit too more up and down there, wants to pinch in that spine way too much. I'm just concerned about him as a fat steer just getting way out and not being sound enough, at least for me. Good breed steer here, big-bodied. I think he's sound enough. Maybe just gets a little bit tall for me. I'd like to strengthen him or stouten him up there in the lower portion of his jaw. He's one that could be wider and bolder about his forerib as well. But an awesome breed steer that I think could go to a junior national show or a breed show here in the state of Ohio and do awfully good. Really good class. Let's put our hands together for all 5 of those great exhibitors.
Congratulations to our Class 7 feeder steer exhibitors. First place, Lauren McIntosh. Second, Brentley Long. Third, Caitlin Sweet. Fourth, Mackenzie Moeller. And fifth, Tavon Taylor.
Family meant everything to my father, Paul. Growing up in a small community with 2 hardworking parents, he learned at an early age just how important it is to help and protect others. That's what inspired him to establish Paul Hall & Associates Insurance. Protecting others. My father also believed that if he followed the golden rule and treated our customers as he wanted to be treated, he would build a successful business focused on the families and communities that we serve. He instilled this philosophy in each one of us here at Paul Hall & Associates, and his legacy lives on. We are Paul Hall & Associates, our family, ensuring yours.
At the Campbell Group of Sipsicline Realtors, they pride themselves on knowing the area that they're selling. And with more than 40 years serving as Ripley's own real estate agent, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more experienced team. Agent David Campbell and the Campbell Group specialize in southern Brown County river and farm properties. Call 937-392-4308 for the Campbell Group of Sipsicline Realtors, or visit their office at 908 South 2nd Street in Ripley.
Class 2 feeder heifer.
Good little pair of feeder heifers out here. I like this brown colored heifer out here. She's very thick, very wide. I think she's got the right type of belly to her. Very proportional from the side. She's maybe could use an inch of stretch about her neck or an inch or two of stretch in her rump structure. I think that would truly make her ideal. But I think you throw her in a market heifer class as a fat, she's going to put a whooping on the boys. I think she's going to be a lot of fun for you this next year. Nothing to take away from young man's kind of round up color heifer here in second. Her front end is really cool. I like the length and extension to her neck. Very expressive down her top line. It has a lot of turn and pop to the lower portion of her stifle. One that just gets too perpendicular or up and down off both ends of her skeleton. I like to see her drop in her body and just have an easier feeding look to her. I think doing that and letting her hit the feed bucket hard is only going to get better for you, young man. Great class. Let's put our hands together for both of those exhibitors.
Congratulations to our Class 1 feeder heifer exhibitors. First place, Mackenzie Moeller. Second place, Cade Walkup. Entering the ring, we now have Class 2 feeder heifers, Kinley Klein and Hayden Wagner. If we could please have all first and second place feeder calf class winners report to the makeup area.
Good pair of females out here. Man, what a tank to start the class off with. From her nose to her tail, she's wide and she's thick and still handles it fairly good on the go. She wants a short step ever so slightly and maybe miss her step every now and then, but still just a really opened up one that still proportions well from the side. Still, although she's not maybe the longest, most extended fronted one, I still think she has enough to give her a good look from the profile. One here in second's a little bit more on a breeding heifer deal, but I think she's awfully green today. She needs to be opened up in her forerib and dropped in her flank. I think she's one that tends to want to duck her pins when we set her in motion, but so cool fronted, really sound on her feet and legs. Good pair of females to wrap up our feeder calf show.
Congratulations to our Class 2 feeder heifer exhibitors. First place, Hayden Wagner. Second place, Kinley Klein.
ProGen's next-generation technology flooring is designed to stand up to the demands of modern life, and it's available now at the Winchester Carpet Outlet. Because ProGen is durable, waterproof, dimensionally stable, and easy to install, it can be used in any room, including rooms that are most prone to moisture and spills, like kitchens and baths. For top-quality flooring, service, and selection at prices that'll floor you, visit the Winchester Carpet Outlet, just off State Route 32 on Tri-County Road, just a few miles west of Winchester, Ohio, and online at winchestercarpetoutlet.com.
Dotson. Class 2, Gwyneth Souter. Class 3, Lauren McIntosh. Class 4, Holden Sweet. Class 5, Sage Miranda. Class 6, Lacey Hauser. Class 7, Lauren McIntosh. Class 8, Mackenzie Moeller. And from Class 9, Hayden Wagner. All second place exhibitors, please be in the makeup area.
Really fun feeder show. I think Ohio should look out for Brown County kids come State Fair and County Fair next year, because you guys are bringing the heat with your steers that you got on feed now. I'd say if you want to beat some of these next year, you go buy, better go spend a lot of money, because these ones are really, really good out here. With that being said, I think there's a few of them in the hunt to win this thing, and I'm not going to talk all of them. But out of our second class, man, that's a steer who's really just hard to pick a major hole in. He's good looking. He's really sound. He's not as stout as a couple of the others, and I take that into consideration, maybe for Grand or Reserve or third, but one that I think can get there in his feed pattern. He's just in a little weird of a growing stage. He maybe wants to run downhill just a scotch, but I don't hold that against him. I still think he's deadly looking from the side. I like his running gear underneath an awful lot. This orange steer just really tickles my fancy. He's just awfully good looking from the side, very proportional, bold bodied. That one just has a big old caboose right behind him and a hind leg that has some flex and some bend to it. I'd like to see him relax his spine ever so slightly when we can set that dude in motion. He wants to maybe get a little bit flatter there in his forerib, or maybe he wants to come out in his shoulder a little bit, and it further insinuates that he wants to come in at his forerib just a little bit. I don't want to knock a good calf though. That one's awfully nice. I think there's a few other ones out here that we'll talk about for third, fourth, and fifth, but those are the two out here right now in the hunt for grand overall. I like the extra power of that orange one. That's your champion today.
Champion feeder calf comes from Class 3. Congratulations to Lauren McIntosh. Entering the ring, we now have Zoe Sawyers.
I really like this second place steer, and I think in that class, I spent quite a bit of time evaluating those two on deciding who was going to win it. Man, he's really proportional. He's a little calf that looks like he's going to grow, but he still looks like a fat steer right now just because he's so soggy and just is very proportional. I love his hind leg. His biggest holes, he's a little bit small-footed. I don't ever think he's going to be a big one. I knew in my mind it was going to be awfully close between these two right in front of me for reserve. We get him out here. I like that painted one second best. He'll be reserved. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Zoe Sawyers. Class 3 will be our reserve champion. Third overall comes from Class 2, Gwyneth Souter. Entering the ring, now have Hayden Wagner.
I think a guy with the one standing out here in front of me could do a few different things for 4th and 5th overall. I think there's quite a few of them in consideration out here. Really good cattle, but I like this white one that was second behind our 3rd overall. That's just a really no holes kind of a calf that comes together with an attractive look. Set him into motion, he feels his track, and he's squishy footed. He's maybe not the burliest out here today, but it's a feeder calf division. I think that he has the right type of skeletal width and rib shape to grow into himself. I like that one an awful lot, and he's getting a second look. This orange steer is awfully cool from the side, and man, his hind leg really gets after it. I like how long stepping he is and how squishy footy he is. I kind of worry that he's always going to be kind of tall and narrow. He needs to open up in his chest floor, and I'd like to see him stouter from behind, but it's pretty hard to make him with that kind of hind leg and still have it that stout as well. I think he gets a second look. Young lady's yellow and white calf out here is really burly. That's the big-footed one of this group. I think when he wants to not be a knucklehead and reach out and step, he really is squishy-footed, but from time to time he wants to knuckle up on it, step up front. I don't know if he's just inside of himself enough. He kind of gets out of his shoulder, and I'd like to see him just a little bit smoother right there. This black steer I keep going back to, man, that one's just so soggy middled. He parks up with just an awesome look from the side, tons and tons of length and extension up front. He gets a little goofy right out of the backside of his shoulder there. I'd like to strengthen him right there and just open him up in his forerib, but I think he does a lot of good. And of the ones out here, I question, is he maybe the most unique one in regards to thinking of him down the future. And then this little heifer right here, she's kind of a tinker toy, but she dang sure is a cute little tinker toy. She's really opened up. She's really massive, still proportional. I just question her grow pattern. How big is she ever going to be? And then at times she maybe just doesn't quite want to fill her track. I'm going to put the mic down and go select your 4th and 5th overall. If you would, let's give all these kiddos another round of applause.
Congratulations to Lauren McIntosh, calf coming out of Class 7. Now entering the ring, we'll have Brentley Long. Fifth overall comes from Class 2, second place exhibitor, Hayden Wagner. At 8 o'clock, we will meet back here to give out our Outstanding Market Exhibitor Awards, and then we will follow with the steer show.